That sounds toxic. Go for it. Okay. Hi guys, and welcome back to a video. I don't really know what to say. Basically, this video is going to be giving my tips on how I went from this to this. So let's jump into it. I don't want this video to be about any like quick fixes, follow my program, follow my diet, none of that. Like, to me, this is a lifestyle, and I mean that. Like, it's not it's cliche, like nowadays you hear like lifestyle, not a diet, but it's true. Like, I don't know how else to put it. Anyway, I compiled a few little notes on the things I've done in the last few months. Follow my Instagram if you want to see like my ins and outs day to day of kind of what I do. But basically, I toned up and I shaped my body. It's not really about the weight loss for me. It was honestly just about the shape I gave my body and just feeling better. Honestly, that's it. Anyway, it's already hot in here. Sweating because I don't want to open the window because it's noisy. Anyway, my biggest tip is don't go off other people's advice and telling you what kind of calories you need to be on, like, unless they know what they're doing, like they're like certified or something. You have to learn for yourself. Honestly, that you have to learn for yourself. So that's step number one, is find out your maintenance. The long way and the most accurate way to do it is honestly to track what you're eating and see whether you gain, like just your current, what you eat every day. And if you gain or if you lose, and if you're not gaining or losing, then that's your maintenance. There is a few ways around it to make it shorter, to get a rough idea. And I think it's okay to have like a rough estimate. So just go into like a calorie calculator on Google, put in what you exercise, like all of the height, like everything it kind of wants to know about you, and then it'll give you a rough maintenance. And then eat that for a few days and see if you lose or gain weight. And if you don't, then it's roughly your maintenance. For me, I think you can also just tell within your body, whether if you know your body well and the feeling and in your clothes, you'll know if it's your maintenance, like if you're not gaining or losing. From there, from your maintenance, in order to lose weight or to lean out a little bit, you have to be in a deficit. There's really no other way around it. So from your maintenance, you want to drop down lower than your maintenance. And that's what I did. Numbers wise, I don't think you should just go off what someone tells you to. You need to know your body, and like some deficits could be too steep. If you are going to do a steep deficit, just be in a shorter time frame, because you do not want to crash any of your metabolism. But like this is just a tips video, so we don't need to go into like huge amounts of detail because I could ramble on for quite a while. But anyway, maintenance and then your deficit. All right, so don't fall for quick fixes, okay? That should just be well known, but there are too many scammers out there that are going to try and scam you for your money and give you a quick fix program. That's not how it works, okay? So don't fall for those, don't fall for it. So learn to track your food. This isn't something that you're going to have to do for your whole life, but understanding what's in your food and what you're putting in your body, the amounts, etc., the macros, all of this is just going to help add knowledge. That's what's helped me. I've educated myself, I've asked for people around me in the industry, and just really found out about my food, like what I'm intaking. Like, I've always eaten a healthy lifestyle. I eat a great range of food, but like, what's healthy? Like, it's too broad of a spectrum these days. So you do you, boo. But tracking your food is going to be what makes you work out what's best for you. So for me, tracking, I didn't worry too much about tracking specific carbs and fats and like the whole thing. For me, I had a calorie, it was my calorie deficit. I'm not going to share numbers because I don't think it's needed, because I want you to find out for yourself. But yeah, so I was in my calorie deficit. So for me, that goal, I used MyFitnessPal. It'll be your best friend. In your calorie amount and then hit your protein intake. Forget about the carbs, forget about the fat, unless you have like a specific goal when it comes to that. I don't think you need to really restrict those kind of things. So I hit my calorie goal and my protein goal. The reason I want you to hit your protein goal, that is the next biggest tip. Make sure you're having enough protein, because protein, you're in a deficit. So we don't want to lose any more of our muscles, you know? So in order to not lose your muscle, like you don't want to burn any of that away. Like you've just worked hard to probably earn some muscle. Or if you weren't, that's our next tip. Hit your protein intake, because you're going to be losing a bit of weight, or your weight will fluctuate slightly, but you're in a deficit, so you're probably losing a bit of fat, and you want to not get like skinny fat is what I want to call it. That sounds toxic. But like you don't want to be losing all this weight and be losing your tone, or just not having any kind of tone. Hitting your protein is going to make sure that you can still recover well, like your muscles, and you're just going to be maintaining your muscles. And if you're a newbie at the gym as well, you could be also making like some newbie gains. Whereas normally, like for me to make some gains, I need to be in a surplus, because that's the only way I'm going to gain more muscle. So I just wanted to maintain my muscle, because I felt like I had my muscle, I just had a bit of body fat, a higher body fat percentage around it. So I went into a deficit and I stuck to my protein and I lost weight. So I lost a bit of body fat, kept my muscle. Overall, that makes me look like I lost more weight than I did, because I looked more toned, and that was the goal. Our next step, which I said before that we're going to talk about, remember. Oh, okay. Next thing I wanted to say was about lifting weights. So if you don't already do that, you might experience some newbie gains, which is amazing. You want that in a deficit, getting your newbie gains as well. You will feel like a boss ass woman. So yeah, if you're not already, or if you are, stick to it, but make sure you're training properly. I think a lot of us don't actually know how to get in the gym and to make your time worthwhile. So either get yourself a good PT, go to my Instagram, I'm sure I can send you a good PT your way. But yeah, know what you're doing or learn what you're doing. It's gonna help you a lot. So you want like a push day, a pull day, your leg days. Girls, stop just doing legs. Like get your chest going, get your shoulders, hit it all, baby. Hit it all, because it'll feel good. You want to be strong in all aspects of your body and your life. So yeah, that's the other thing. Make sure you're still like strength training, because that's how you're gonna feel toned and like strong. So we want that. We really do. One of the biggest things, which is very controversial, there's a lot of videos out there about it that I'm sure could help you do a bit of research on it, but one of my opinions that I think worked really well for me. I was hesitant at the start on thinking it would be good or bad, but honestly, it worked well. It worked great, and that is fasting. So a morning fast. I'm not strict on the rules, but roughly it's like, is it a 15-hour window or something? Like some people do that. Honestly, I didn't worry too much about the rules necessarily. I just did what worked best for me. For me, the morning fast was so I could, because I was in a deficit, I wanted a lot of my calories to be saved for like some big meals, like to make me feel fuller for longer. And I feel like during your day, like the morning and when you're sleeping, is kind of the best time to get away with being able to go longer periods of time without eating. And that's where coffee became my best friend. If you know me, I used to hate coffee. I used to really put it out there to the world on how much I didn't drink coffee. And now I eat my own words, because I'm a bit of a coffee addict, I will say so myself. But I'm gonna do a coffee detox, so stay tuned for that. I might even do a video on that, because it's gonna be interesting. It really is. But yeah, coffee became my best friend. It took me a while to get used to, but I wake up, I would do like pre-workout or gym, or I'd use coffee as my pre-workout, some type of energy and something that's just gonna like blunt my hunger. And coffee did exactly that. Coffee blunted my hunger, and that's not meant to sound toxic, but I wasn't now skipping out on these calories. I was using these calories that were normally made for my breakfast, using them after my workout or just that slightly bit later in the day. And that helped me to stay in my deficit a lot. So have your coffee in the morning and your workout and whatnot, and then have your protein oats as like your lunch at like 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Sometimes I stopped my fast at 11 a.m. Sometimes it was till 2 p.m. depending how busy your day is, and just on certain days. Yeah, so fasting was a good friend of mine during my deficit, and I do highly recommend, but I understand that it's not for everyone, because depending on your job and your lifestyle, you might need your calories at different times of day in order to help you, you know, have enough fuel in you. The last thing I want to talk about is just being mindful of your own body and not taking on too many other people's opinions. I know this whole video I've just blabbed on some advice to you and my tips that worked for me, but take what you want. You don't have to take anything at all, but this is just what worked for me, and I just wanted to share that with you all, because I think I've had a lot of people just ask different questions here and there. So here's a whole video on like lots of little tips and tricks I did throughout my deficit. So the last thing, yeah, is be mindful of your own body, and especially to all my uterus owners out there, when you're in your cycle, there's definitely going to be times where you need to adapt your deficit, because you're already going to be lower on energy, and like this is a whole nother video in itself. It's just your cycle, something that I'm learning about and I'm becoming very passionate about, because I think us women don't know enough about it, and we need to know our bodies better. Studying to be a naturopath, so I really hope that in the future I'll help a lot of people with these things. But yeah, be mindful when you're on your cycle, when you're in your luteal phase, right before you're about to get your menstrual cycle, you're gonna hit some cravings, and I hit my carb cravings really hard during that time, and I listen to my body, I accept it, I take on those extra carbs and calories. I might feel a bit fuller, look a bit fuller because of your water weight, and your weight will fluctuate, so just listen to your body. There's a lot more I could say on that, but that's the last biggest tip, is just to be mindful, listen to your own body, do what's best for you, play around. Sometimes you have to learn the hard way, but I hope that maybe this helps with any kind of avoiding any kind of really restrictive eating, or just like bad little ideas out there, that little trends that people think will help them quickly lose weight. And honestly, it's a lifestyle and you need to be consistent. That is the key here. I hope you enjoyed these tips on how I went from this to that. And I don't know, this kind of, I'm very passionate about it. As you can see, I've rambled on for the last like 15 minutes. Let me know if you want more kind of these videos. But anyway, and stay happy and healthy, and follow my Instagram if you want to DM me about any more, like I think I can go on about these tips. Have a good day.